Hello and welcome to Hope Lives Here. This is Apostle Kendrick, and this is beautiful Monday morning. You say, what's so beautiful about it? It's beautiful because this is the day that the Lord has made, and we're rejoicing in it, aren't we? Yes, we are. So it's good to be able to share with you again. We've been talking about waiting on the Lord, and this day I just want to talk to you a little bit about distractions and how that distractions can actually hinder you from your getting the promises that God has for you. And what that is while you're waiting. While you're waiting for the Lord, there's sometimes many distractions that come to take our eyes off of what God has promised us. We get prophetic words many times, and we don't see them come right away like we want them to. And as we're waiting over a period of time, we can have distractions. When we look at the definition of distractions, it says that which diverts attention, a diversion, the state in which the attention is called in different ways: confusion, perplexity, disturbance, disorder, derangement. So we see that when we get distracted, it can bring frustrations, it can bring confusion, and we can easily just say, well, just forget it. Just forget it. But we don't want to do that. I was thinking about how distractions come in so many ways, and one of them is as we're driving, down the freeway, and many times my freeway to get into town or into Seattle area, it's pretty busy. But on the other side, going south, I'm going north and they're going south. And as I see accidents, you can easily turn to look to see what's going on. All the traffic slows down and it's going on the other side of the freeway, going north, but it slows down. Why? Because it's looking back at the accidents, trying to catch a glimpse of what's happening. In other words, being distracted from driving could cause chaos. It could cause an accident. Rubbernecking, where you're looking at the other, what's happening on the other side of the freeway, going the opposite direction. And it was a time that they said texting was caused more accidents because being distracted when you're driving, but now they say it's rubbernecking because of the people looking at, just causing you to look away from the direction you're going. And this happens often, when we fix our eyes on that which has nothing to do with our process. Yes. And so what about your spiritual life, and what about your spiritual distractions that you face from time to time? It could be on your job when you are working, and you might look at someone, it seems as though that they are being promoted, or they're getting more blessed than you are, and you've been there longer, and you know how that can be. And you get distracted by looking at them when, say that you're believing the Lord for a promotion, and then the person next to you, your coworker, gets the promotion and you don't. I remember when I was working in the secular world, and I was working at this particular corporation where I put in for a position that was going to be pretty favorable for me. And there was quite a few in my area that had put in for that position. And I was interviewed for it and it looked like it was going quite well. But God spoke through a prophetic word concerning not to take this promotion. And I didn't understand that, but I had to obey God. And so I went to one of my friends that I work with, my coworkers, who also put in for the position. And I told them that I was going to back out. And they says, well, why would you? And I says, I just feel that I need to back out. And I did. And I wondered about that. You know, it bothered me at that time. And I was distracted from what I really wanted. I thought I wanted, I should say. But you know, as I look back about 3 weeks later, something took place in my life, and there were some promotion in another direction that was more favorable and more profitable for me than that one. So I could have been, and of course my friend, she got that position, but I knew that I had it. I knew I had it, you know, but God was saying, no, I have something better. Sometimes when we are looking for a particular thing and it does not happen, and we see others moving in that direction, we can get distracted and think God has forgotten us, or he doesn't love us, or he's not favoring us. But know this one thing, that God has plans for you, and he will perform that he said that he would do. Let's look at 1 Corinthians 7:35. And it says, that you may attend upon the Lord without distraction. And this I speak for your own profit, not that I may cast a snare upon you, but for that which is commonly, and that ye may attend upon the Lord without distractions. Apostle Paul was speaking here. He didn't want to put a snare. He didn't want to control. He didn't want to go against your will and force you. But he was saying that he wanted to, here, I want to keep you from being distracted. So how can we be? By holding on to the word of God, of what God said, keeping our eyes fixed upon the Lord and what he promised us, regardless of how long it takes. And I've spoke on this before, but I feel really that we need to go over and over and be repetitive on this. And he said, I'm saying this for your own profit, that I may not put a leash on you, which would be a controlling force that you had no choice. The Lord always wants you to have a will. That's why he gave you a will. The power, the greatest thing to me that God has given us is that a power of making the power of our own will to make decisions without being forced to make decisions. But his word will guide you, right? He said, I'll lead you in the way that I will have you to go. And he'll guide us with his eye. Why? Because he delights in our ways. And so we want to continue to not be distracted. When we look and we see what the dictionary says about the opposite of distractions is focus. Focus, that's a powerful word. We have to focus upon what it is that we want from God and not get detoured away from that. And so just what is a spiritual attraction? It says here, it could be even for the purposes of your life that God has called you to, and you're waiting for to see that ministry. And I speak to leaders, I speak to ministries that feel that they're not progressing, they're not moving ahead as fast, and they're looking at what's happening with them. Keep your eyes on what God has. Maybe that isn't for you. Maybe that particular direction is not for you. But know that the Lord will direct you. If he called you, he will lead you. If he called you, he has put within you the potential to succeed. So let's not get distracted in that way. We can also get distracted by the media today. We're seeing some pretty ridiculous things taking place in the news, and a lot of things that are causing people to have fear. There's so much fear today, agoraphobia, fear in the marketplace, where people are closed into their homes and will not go out because of fear. This is something that has taken place in America, and people are fearful even to go out because of so much crime and so much theft, so many things that are taking place. And we can get distracted by looking at the news always, and this is, again, this is not anything new, but I'm being repetitive here because it's getting worse. It's increasing. And we must put our trust in the Lord and know that God will supply and grant us that request that we are believing Him for. In other words, you want to be like a tree that's planted by the rivers of water. I remember when I was 9 years old, and when I was filled with the baptism right here in the Washington area in Lake Wilderness. And as I was coming home, there was a song that continued, just it over and over and over, just continued pouring out of me. And I was just singing it, and I was literally drunk in the Spirit. I just got filled with the baptism. And it was, I shall not be moved, just like a tree planted by the rivers of water. I shall not be moved.
This year is the beginning of a new era. This, I guarantee, will be the experience of a lifetime. The beginning of a new era.
We must learn to hold on to what we are believing God for. And I want to share with you a scripture in Psalms 119, 148 that says, "My eyes are awake before the watches of the night, that I may meditate on your promise. I will not be distracted in the dark hours when I do not see your promises." The dark hours. That's the times in our life where it's dark to us and we do not see anything. It's just like heaven is closed up and we're just there. And we see others progressing and moving forward and look like nothing is happening for us. But we must remember that we walk by faith and not by sight. We do not look at what we see with our natural eyes, but we hold on to that God has promised us, and we will see the fruit. Well, we'll see the thing come to pass. Are we focused, church? Are we focused on the kingdom of God and God's plan, or do we get distracted and become angry sometime, just like the world is, what's happening around the world today? It's human nature to retaliate when someone hurts us or something, but is that the way of God? Is that the way of God? No, that's that old man that lives within us that we have to continue crucify. We have to continue when it rises up. Sometimes the enemy comes and whispers in our ears. Sometimes our flesh. The enemy has nothing to do with it. Our flesh rises up and we begin to think thoughts that are negative. We have to crucify that. Every day of our life, we have to crucify that flesh. And sometimes you say, well, this is a difficult thing for me. I mean, I'm warring. Yes, we are warriors and we war continually. And as you continually take the word of God in you, you find that it automatically, the word automatically arises out of you without you even realizing it. Why? Because that's what you have eaten. That's what you've taken within you. And that's what comes out from you to combat, to come against the powers of hell and the whispers that come in the night season. And so as we look, I think of Job, and no one really likes to talk about Job because he went through so much, but we can get some good things coming from Job in the 31st chapter. And he said this, I made a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully at a young woman, not to look lustfully. Now, why did I share that with you? Because in Judges 16, we see Samson, a powerful young man born to conquer, born to lead his people into victory. But he got distracted. He got distracted with his eyes by looking at foreign women that he shouldn't have been looking at. Yet God used that to conquer the Philistines, but it cost him his life because he laid his head rather in the lap of deception. And so we must be careful that we're not distracted by lust. And that lust could be women, it could be food, it could be work, it could be whatever it is that would try to take a hold to you and control your thinking, control the way that you move and the way you do things and the way you act. You have to be careful. And so we want to be addicted to the Lord. We want to become addicted. David said, I am addicted to the Lord. Yes, we can have an addiction for the Lord, that we crave him, that we have a passion for him. And as we do that, we'll find that we'll walk in the ways of the Lord. In closing today, I just want to share with you quickly in 1 Kings 13 concerning prophet, an old prophet that God had given instructions for him, for the king, and to give a word. And that word was not a favorable word for that king, but he gave it. And the Lord also gave him instructions, and he told him, he says, when you give this word, he said, I want you to turn and I want you to head home. I don't want you to stop anywhere. I don't want you to stop and eat. I don't want you to rest. I want you to continue on. Well, he headed, the king wanted him to come in and eat with him. He says, no, I must go and obey the Lord. And he went. But an older prophet found out what he had done and found the word that he had given and went to see him and asked him to come to his place. And he said, nope. He said, I can't. But he lied. The old prophet lied and told him, he says, an angel came to me and told me that you were to come and stop by my place. He did not discern that it was a lie. And he went. And because of it, it cost him his life. It cost him death because of the sin of disobedience. The distraction because of disobedience caused him to not discern, to know the enemy was speaking to him. You say, why would an old prophet do that? The fact that he was an old prophet and was not active in the things of God. So let's remember, you can be distracted by disobedience. When God says something, follow it through. Even though you don't feel it, you don't see it. Continue on, and you'll see the manifestation of the blessings of God. Amen. God bless you.